Hello and welcome back. Today I'm on with this chair that's been stripped. It's to go, if you remember from previous video, you'll recognise the fabric that we're about to put on this. It's to go to the same customer, so you will recognise the fabric. It's a beautiful fabric from Art de la Loom. So we need to crack on with this and get this done and back to the customer as well. So let's get on with it. Right, do you recognise the fabric yet? Let's lay that out a bit better. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, it was the same fabric that was on the lovely Georgian chair we've done recently. So they're now having this done in the same fabric. There you have the fabric. I'm just laying that on there just to show you the fabric. I wanted you to see that. We are going to Luxe Bond the arms and the wings on this chair, just because the foam has deteriorated a little bit. We want to give it a nice new soft touch feel underneath this fabric. Right, so like I said previously, we're going to cover these arms and wings in Luxe Bond. This is a heavyweight one. It's an 8-ounce Luxe Bond, so use it for cushion wraps, etc. But I like to use it on something like this as well, rather than the lot thinner ones. So it just tears. Right, so there you have inside arm, inside wing on. I have to say it's not the nicest fabric I've ever worked with for doing scrolls and so on. It doesn't lend itself to pleating at all. It's not got any real stretch or give in this fabric. You would have seen the sofa that we did in the last clip. That fabric was much nicer to do these arms with, but with a bit of patience and skill, they've gone on nicely. I just need to finish this outside arm off here along the bottom edge. That will put a bit more tightness into the top of this arm to get out these little wrinkles in it. We've had to be very aware of where we're stapling the fabric both on the wing and the arm, because it's got to have the wooden facings attached. I'm just looking around to see where I put them, and I can show you what I mean regarding that. As in the last video, you would have seen these facings getting attached on here. So we have to make sure that the fabric we're stapling is behind this facing, otherwise we've got to adjust the arm to compensate for it. So I'll crack on with the other arm. You don't need to watch me doing that, you've seen it in this. I hope you didn't spend too much of your time looking at my back, but it's very difficult when I have to move around a lot to be able to pull this off. So I'll get on with the other arm, and then it's relatively straightforward doing the inside, back and the seats. Right, so there you have it. Both arms and inside wings are on this chair. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for the remainder of the fabric to come into stock to me so we can get that finished. So I need to put this down on the floor at the moment. There are plenty of other jobs for us to be getting on with. Least of all, we have some tub chairs to do for the hospital. There's some dining chairs that you saw in the previous clip that have started. We need to get on with them, and a 3-piece suite. We have a customer dropping furniture in today, so it's busy. So we must crack on, and we'll try and post as much as we can that I think will be interesting or relevant of what we're up to in the workshop today. So here we go. Right, so as I'm stuck with being able to move on with the other chair in the previous clip, I'm going to just do some dining chairs that have come into us. These particular dining chairs have a seat pad here and a back pad which goes here in the frame. We don't have the frame here, the customer just brought the pads in for us to do. We've stripped the old cover off the pads, and we just need to put the new cover over the top of the existing foam, as they don't want that changing either. So that's fine. Also, because these seat pads sit into a recess in the frame, putting any additional foam or Lux Bond over this edge could make it difficult to drop the seats back into the frame. So without having a frame here, we can't take that risk that if we put some Lux Bond over this, that the seat pads are not going to fit back into the frame. So we're just going to put the replacement vinyl over the top. Fortunately, the seat pads aren't too bad in this case. Otherwise, we'd have to call the customer and recommend replacing the foam in its entirety. So there we go with that. The back pads have got a cover over them, which allows the vinyl to slip easier for fitment, because it has a stitch seam down each edge and then stapled at the bottom and the top. The top has these locating dowels here, which you can just about see. So they're not very long, so we have to make sure that the vinyl is not too proud or create too much of a lump here, otherwise they're not going to work. So these are all little things we have to take in consideration, because we want the customer to pick them up and fit them into the job without any issues. So here's one covered in the vinyl. As you can see, we've tried to get this tight as we can into the corners without any folds or additional lips here, because it's got to drop in. That involves heating up the vinyl to make it nice and soft and pliable. We've yet to put the bottom cloth back on, but as you can see, recycled board. A lot of this furniture, they just use whatever boards they have hanging around. So generally we see a lot of them in kitchen cabinet doors, etc. it doesn't do any harm. The timber's timber, and they've lasted well. So recycling been going on. So that's the seat pad covered, and I'm going to do a back pad here with you now. I've sewn up the cover for it. The cover is stitched down each side. You can see stitching here. The front and the back covers are slightly different size to each other to allow for this curve here on the front edge. So we end up with this stitching down this edge here as per this one. I think you can just about see that. So the stitching's down this edge here. If we cut the covers the same for the back and the front, we wouldn't get that effect. Okay, so join me and we'll get this covered. So I've turned the fabric inside out. I just need to heat it up to allow me to slip it on and work with it better. I just use a hot air gun, but you have to be careful because we don't want to damage the vinyl. So you can overheat it. So I'm just heating the vinyl up till it becomes very soft and pliable. No more than that. You have to get it to a certain level, but we don't want to get it too hot, otherwise it will damage the vinyl. So get nice and soft now. Heat that up a little bit, and then we should be able to slide that on, bearing in mind to get it the right way with the front on to the front. Making sure that the salvage on the vinyl is folded the correct way. We don't want it folding in different directions, giving it a lumpy edge. Again, it's just making sure we achieve quality finish. So I'm just manipulating that there. Bit by bit. So I'm going to start with the bottom edge. So you can see here this is now slipped on, and you can see this here is same direction on both sides. So it lays nice and flat, and we get the seam in equal position down each side of the back. So staple there, one in there, and one in there. Like so, and then we fold these in like wrapping presents. Cutting off any salvage as I go, because we want to keep this as lump free as possible. So that's the back edge done with a fold on each corner. When I pull it towards the top, this will go nice and tight and snug here on the corners. I just need to finish off the other side. So I'm stapling the front edge over the back edge of the vinyl. That is so when you're looking at the chair from the front, you don't see any lip from the vinyl. I'll try and show you that now. So this is the back of it, and this is where you can see the the vinyl coming over the back here, and that creates a lip. Now you can theoretically, you may be able to see that from the back, but as most people stand in front of the furniture, the lip is hidden here. These will come out better when I heat this up and pull it towards the top, which I'm about to do. So, giving it a nice firm pull from the bottom towards the top, easing it with my hand. Staple in there as we did on the bottom. Same again with the other side. So that's stapled. We can now cut off the salvage. Right, as always with the Stanley knife, make sure you have a sharp Stanley knife. A blunt knife is more dangerous than a sharp one. Because what happens is you find that with a blunt knife you're putting more pressure on it, and therefore the knife can slip easier on the job, whereas with a sharp knife it just cuts and you don't need to put so much pressure on it to cut. So that's cut off, tap there to make sure that's down as far as it can go. Then I'm going to heat it up. Heat it up now, both sides. I'm going to staple the back edge over first, like for the reason I said, so you can't see that edge. Trim that off and then staple the front edge over the top. Each vinyl from each manufacturer can be quite different to each other. We have some very supple soft vinyls, and then we have some very stiff and not so supple vinyls. So it's a case by case thing whether we have to heat them up or not, or the ambient temperature. You know, if it's a very hot day, then the vinyl is naturally softer. I'm starting to feel a bit subconscious because I'm talking about things getting hot and cold and firm and soft. I'll try not to giggle too much. That's the back edge on, and cut round the dowels. So heat up the front edge, pull it on and do the same with that. So there you go, I've started stapling that off, so we'll just get on and finish that off. Tacker's come in from his walk. Tacker, for those that don't know, is the dog. Sociable dog that just wants to spend all his time sat in the van. Anyway, he's been for his walk, he's back now. So that's the top done, and that's the inside back done. Relatively simple, but you need to take care with them and do the job as neat as you can, because we want the customer to be happy. So I'll crack on with the rest of them, wrap them up in some cling film, pallet wrap, to make sure they don't get grubby, and send them back to the customer. Right, so we've been busy. We've completed the couple of tub chairs ready to go back to the hospital, and I'm now on with some benches for one of the local gyms. As you can see, the tub chairs are here, ready to go back. Fairly straightforward. We use the original covers as a template to make them up, and they're ready to go back. And now we're on with the gym bits. So these are the pads here that you can see, and there's one other pad that we've had to remake in its entirety because the foam had deteriorated. So this is the new foam, and I'm just about to start cutting and sewing the cover for this. So let's get on with that, and you can join me for this. So unfortunately I've put that cord in the hardest way possible, because unfortunately I forgot to put it in as I was sewing the edge up for it, so I had to do it that way. Not ideal, but it works. I just simply forgot to sew the cord in, so we'll get that cord in the other side, and then we'll close the ends down. Right, so there you have it. There's that end done of this particular pad for the gym. So just do the other end and get that ready with the other seat pads. They're straightforward wrapped over pads. This video's getting a bit long now, so we'll call it quits there. I hope you enjoyed this and enjoyed spending a little time in our workshop, seeing what we're up to and what comes through the door. So we'll speak to you again soon. I'll keep the content coming. Please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to be kept up to date when our latest video is dropped. So for now, cheerio and thanks for watching.